Okay. I'm in the process of doing a little bit of reworking for item levels and stats for Windwalker. So essentially, what I'm trying to do is we have this list of passive skills here, and their technical effects. They're going to be modifying stat values for our characters, some flat number of stats over here. You can see a plus 200 and some percentages. And essentially what I'm trying to do right now is balance these things so that the level 10 passives are in close relation to each other in terms of the item level gain, and the level 30s and level 45, etc. So these skills and numbers were determined prior to me doing kind of like economy design, things like that. So what I'm trying to do now is modify these values, and then sometimes changing the way I calculate item level. So I have this over here. These are the primary stats: strength, dex, intelligence, constitution. And then each point of these primary stats give these secondary stats that I've highlighted here. And what I'm doing now is getting this number and then dividing it by, I guess it's easier to show here. So getting this number, so I have it in two places because this is economy design and this is the master attributes list. Probably a little confusing. I'm getting confused, I think. But yeah, I need to make sure that this is the same as this. So it looks like this is the one I've been using. So I'll update this and then modify this once I'm done. So yeah, these secondary stats. So 2 physical damage correlates to. So 2 divided by 2.5 is 0.8. And then 1.5 HP divided by 10 HP is 0.15. And then a little bit of Phys defense correlates to 0.2. So 1 point of strength gives you 1.15 item level. So that's what I'm doing here to determine how much item level these should give. And I'm trying to get them as close to 1 as possible, because I still want these to just give 1 item level. If they're the closer they are to each other, I think the better. Yeah, so with that in mind, I'm trying to change these stats and write down of these passives how much item level gain will a character get at level 30 versus level 100. And then these are going to change because of these percentage increases as well. Something like this, the dodge crit chance, these are fixed numbers, so it's not going to change based on levels. But right now I'm just going to go through these and then see if I can note anything like really like off and then take note of it. Otherwise, I'll just do like a TBD and then figure out later how I want to do this. I could graph them out to see how much item level gain they could be from 1 to 100. But the difficulty of that would be having to generate, like, I guess, a sort of simulation to determine, like, oh, what items is a character going to be equipping, and then of those items, how much correlates to melee damage, because melee damage isn't necessarily physical damage. Should I just change this entire passive to just physical damage, because that would be easier. But then that has a few design implications, like if it's melee damage, I'm trying to drive the player to use a melee type weapon. If it's physical damage, then they could just pick up a bow or something like that. stat gain per level up, and B3 is the player level. So what we're concerned with is B2 times B3. So if I just highlight that, it tells me what it is, 810. 810 is based on 6 equipment slots. So we're just going to divide that by 6. 810 divided by 6 is 135 times just 25%. So that's just a 33.75 gain at level 30, and then at level 100 it's probably just going to be like almost half that, but we'll see. So here, yeah, let's just highlight this part. 27, 6 times 0.25, 12.5. So this should be double this, shouldn't it? So did I do something wrong here? Let's see. So it's the same thing. 810. Yeah, I think I did something wrong there. 5. Yeah. I was wondering why this number was different. So this should just be 67.5. I'm just underlying the numbers that are done. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna go through this on my own time. But for now, that's kind of what I've been working on, as well as, let's see, I have a new blog posts about overhauling our pet system that we can briefly go over. Essentially, I just talk about like how new developers, they make a game and they kind of lose their vision for what game they're trying to make. They're adding all these different kind of features, and that's what I did for sure. Like, I think a few months into trying to learn Unity, I downloaded a bunch of assets and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make an MMORPG, and then you realize you can't do it. You have a bunch of these like features that are like half baked, not even close to half baked, and then it just kind of gets the scope gets too big, and then you quit. So in a similar vein, I've been trying to figure out how we could simplify the pet system for Windwalker. And then this is kind of the initial notes I had. And this was a broken down like document that I created too. But you can see there's a lot of kind of numbers here and chances and formulas and things like that, and examples. This flowchart was kind of a oversimplification that I was like pretty proud of, but yeah, it was just adding a lot of bloat kind of to this pet taming system. And then I thought about this game that I used to play called Orna, where you kind of just chance onto an NPC, and then that NPC just sells you pets. And what that does for us is a few things. One, the biggest thing I think being like a simplification of how to acquire pets, but also it's a sink for our game's economy. So I was able to, using this sheet once again, figure out like, okay, how much tax should I have for the pets? And the pets, I know kind of like roughly what level they would be based on the player's level. And then I can just price them here based on that player's level. And then incorporate some sort of tax, because when you have a sink, you don't want it to just be like a one-to-one where they can just purchase things for their like face value. So we have that pet tax, the player's average item level, and then you can see here, let's see, so the random pet has like a 15% chance to appear at the shop, and at level 30 it's going to be worth about 41,000. And then if we scale that up to like 50, 69,000. So super easy. Took very minimal like effort in comparison to this older system that I was thinking of doing. It doesn't require us to make like a mini game that I was thinking of. Yeah, so we could spend more time fleshing out the economy, doing things like this, and getting closer to that like vertical slice, and hopefully we can actually like ship this game out in less than a year.